Yo, welcome everyone. My name is DJ. Let's chop it up. Before I get too far, just gotta ask you guys, if you don't mind, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button for me. With my channel being so new, it really helps get my content and my channel out there to the most people that it can. It just helps with that algorithm. So if you don't mind, hit that like and subscribe button for me. Today's topic is going to be, it's going to be definitely a touchy one. My perspective is based upon my reality and my experiences. So that's the best way I can explain it. I'm not a judgmental type. Everyone has a reason to believe whatever they believe. And that's just that. Only thing I could do is give them my take and my opinion from my perspective. You know, and if it changes something, it changes something. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But the information is still useful until you can deem it unuseful. But you don't know until you receive it. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into this video. This is from Mr. Thomas Sowell. And he's a very intellectual person. He articulates very well and he's very intelligent. So I definitely recommend you all check him out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Listen, Tom, as I read this book, for the most part, it's objective, it's objective throughout. It's calm, it's analytical. But when you take on this modern progressive position that racism accounts for anything, there are passages in which you're angry. I felt that there are passages in which there's emotion that is very close to this. So let me just read a little bit to you. Median black family income has been lower than median white family income for generations. But the median per capita income of Asian groups is more than $15,000 a year higher than the median per capita income of white Americans. Is this the white supremacy we're so often warned about? For more than a quarter of a century.
So my take on that is I don't know why race. I understand how racism was brought about and the term and how you want to deem it that way, but it's really it's based upon education. I lived in Japan for 3.5 years, give or take, when I served in the Navy. And when you see the way that their education system is structured, it makes 1,000% sense on why they make so much, why their ceiling is so much higher than other individuals that don't have the opportunities that they were afforded. And what I mean by that is they had 5 and 6-year-olds on the train, book bags loaded, on the way to school, on schedule. And if you've ever been to Japan, if you haven't, go look online, look up their railroad system, the railroad system line schematic. They just have they instill a standard from birth of excellency, and that's just what they get. That's the difference. And you can just see it, and you can see it in pay gap, you can see it in education, you can see it in success stories. That's just a fact. Knowledge is power.
No year has the annual poverty rate of black married couple families been as high as 10%. And in no year has the poverty rate of Americans as a whole been as low as 10%. If black poverty is caused by systemic racism, do racists make an exception for blacks who are married? I guess you're allowed to be angry.
Yes. Well, yes.
So, do you have the feeling when you're addressing this notion that racism accounts for everything, do you have the feeling that that the arguments are subtle, it's persuasive, you can forgive someone for buying that argument? Or do you have the feeling that it's willful? That the case is so clearly mistaken that there's a willfulness about it.
No, I don't. I think that people don't look for certain evidence, and therefore they don't find it. And so, on the basis of what they know at a given time, this may be very plausible.
I got another example to give to that. So when Obama came onto the scene back in 2007, I was still a child becoming a young adult. But the overall feeling that we got as a whole, like when you walked around black folks and Obama came up, the sheer joy and the aura that was brought around this man's name and what it meant to us as a community on the outside looking in, how he was the first black president, and we were told all of these things in which he stood for and the things that he would do and so on and so forth. And after it was all said and done, what we got is what we've already been given. Like nothing was different. If anything, it was worse. And again, I say this based upon my experiences. This isn't anything that someone has told me, or this isn't one of those scenarios. And it's as real as I was forced to move out of, like, me and my mom had to separate when I was 14 turning 15 years old because of the economy at that point. Like, we just couldn't afford to stay where we were staying. It's real out there. So I never looked at it as a problem. There were times where we had to put water on the stove to take a warm shower, where we've had to open the oven to heat the house because bills weren't able to be paid for whatever reason there may have been. But I never looked at someone to put the blame towards. It was just the hand I was dealt. It was the hand we were dealt. Like, we're gonna make it through, baby. We got God. Like, we good. And my mom always just said that. I never seen her falter. I never seen her break down. I've never seen any of that. She just took it on the chin and we rolled on. She did the best she could and gave us the most she could. And whatever scenario we had present, she had to rob Peter to pay Paul. And that's my scenario. That's based upon the information that was given to her at the time. And a lot of our parents at that time, people that are my age in that generation, our parents were led down this rabbit hole of you need to work a 9 to 5, a formal job where you wake up every day, go clock in, and just be a mindless robot is what you need to do. You need to work 20 to 30, 50 years, however long that is an insane amount of time to work somewhere with no guarantee of what you're working towards, which is retirement. And it screwed a lot of our parents, and we are the generation that had to pick up that slack. So again, this is just based upon my experiences, not information that was given to me.
The problem is that what you really need are other people with different orientation who are skeptical and who will then look for things and find things that are very different from that. One of the things that I found interesting was the fact that there are various counties in the United States which are among the poorest counties in the country, and 6 of those counties have a population that ranges from 90% white to 100% white.
Appalachian counties.
Yes.
Kentucky,
Kentucky
and Ohio, as I recall.
Yeah, but mainly it's the hillbilly communities.
Right.
And of course, there's that great book that was written, The Hillbilly Elegy. It was on the bestseller list for more than a year consecutively.
J.D.
And
Vance, now Senator Vance.
yes, and these are people who have faced zero racism.
They are white, after
And they're
all.
white and zero racism. And also they're back in the 30s when they did IQ studies, their IQs were not only at the same level as those of blacks, they had the same pattern, namely that the young people, whether they were black or hillbilly, would have an IQ very close to the national average at age 6. But by the time they were teenagers, it kept going down and down and down because it's relative to the other people of that age group, and they simply were falling behind. So it was clearly not biological; it was social. But despite that, these hillbilly counties had incomes that were not only lower than the national average, they were lower than the average of black incomes for a period of half a century. It may have been longer than that because I only went through half a century. But in every study that was done over that half century, they scored lower, their family incomes were lower than the family incomes of blacks. So obviously there must be other things that cause people to be poor other than racism.
All right. People in low-income American hillbilly counties already face zero racism because they're virtually all white.
Yes.
Yet they have lower incomes than blacks, just as you were saying. In other words, some behavior patterns seem to pay off. Now, this book...
I revert back to what I said earlier. Our parents were sold a crock of shit. That 9-to-5 robot mentality was detrimental to, and again, I don't believe that it was just black families. I don't believe that at all. But specifically geared towards the black community, a lot of us didn't see the entrepreneur, the independent business side of life, because we just thought you had to do so much to actually get those kind of things made possible for you and your family. And that's why a lot of us have a hard time starting anything or taking those big steps towards entrepreneurship or owning a business, because of the fear that was showcased around it. And you have more than enough people that you could look around and kind of gauge that aspect from. Sometimes you just have to do your own research. Sometimes you have to be the oddball. You have to be the one to go against the grain, period. Because if you don't, if you just go with the status quo, you're going to get the same results that you're witnessing. Like, nothing's going to change. You have to be different. You have to be able to think for yourself. If something doesn't make sense, there's a reason why you feel that way. And you have to investigate that feeling, regardless of how long or what it requires. You have to investigate it. Because otherwise, you're going to be doing a detriment to the people, not only to yourself, but the people that are around you. Because then we're all going to have false information, which helps make decisions in the future. So again, guys, knowledge is power. Definitely read some of the books that were showcased here today. So yeah, guys, down in the comment section below, let me know you all's thoughts and comments. How do you view racism? What's your perspective of it? All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Down in the comment section, let me know what you all think about today's topic. Me personally, I've always felt this way. As I've gotten older, it's just been reinstilled. Racism has nothing to do with why you ain't and why you can't. You have to go out there and do it. If you believe that you should have it, you need to work towards it. There are things that you can do to positively get there. The time frame, that's not given. but you can do whatever it is that you want to do. And having someone tell you because of your skin color or because of one skin color, you can't do something, not me. You can, okay, I'll show you better than I can tell you. So down in the comment section, let me know what you all think. That's going to wrap it up for this video. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button for me if y'all made it this far. And it's going to be a good journey, y'all. 2025, we're going to start it off with a bang. That's all I got for you guys. I'm going to catch you in the next one.